And now we move on to Philip Horst, our last contribution for this session, who is an artist and co-founder of the artist collective KUNSTrePUBLIK and the Center for Art and Urbanism in Berlin. Zetko.
Thank you. So I picked from the statements a few keywords. They are tactic, alternative action in everyday, pop-up institution, dialogue with power, and empowering. And I would like to kind of illustrate from our practice from KUNSTrePUBLIK, that's we are three men, Matthias Einhoff, Harry Sachs, and myself, how we create places of encounter and discourse, and I'm going to show you a few examples on different scales, on different motivations, how they came to life. So the first one, it's called The Fountains of DC, and it was a public art commission in Washington, DC in 2012. And while researching for ideas on how we can contribute, we came along kind of three narratives. One was the existence of the Temperance Movement. Temperance Movement existed end of the 19th century to temperance the drinking people, and the alcohol people were mostly produced by Germans. So there was a kind of group, the Temperance Movement, who placed fountains near to the pubs where the alcohol was drunk to give an alternative, to give fresh water to the people in public spaces. So we made a kind of, this is the third one I forgot, is the straight edge movement came up in the 80s, hardcore punk, don't smoke, don't drink, don't fuck. And we brought these kind of reformist movements together in this fountain by copying this fountain, making it mobile, and equip it with a new kind of, like a new fountain, so there was water, and a sound system, so you could use it as a tool for your reformist movement, for a demonstration tool. So in the, you see it on the left, there are words inscribed on the four sides of the fountain. It was faith, hope, charity, and temperance, very moral words. And we made this movable by exchanging the letters and adjusting the reformist tools to the kind of demands of the people who use it. So here you can see it in action. This was during a demonstration when Trevor Martin, he was like a black guy, was shot. And we brought it into the demonstration, and then suddenly also the whole appearance changed. I mean, first of all, and that's maybe also something which can be applied to the forms of Tanya Bugera was talking about preconceived responses, like forms you see. The normal protest signs would be like signs you carry around, and so we chose another kind of architecture for this. But in this special case, because it was a kind of memorial also for someone who was killed, it became a grave suddenly. We were pushing in this thing, and the people were opening up, and suddenly became a kind of symbol for a grave. So this is an example how an artistic action can spark a whole process of city-urban planners' discourse. This happened 2 years ago on Alexanderplatz. Alexanderplatz is the eastern center of Berlin, in a house, not only a house, it's a whole block, which used to be the House of Statistics of the GDR, was empty for 8 years, and during the recent years a lot of spaces got vanished in Berlin, got more expensive, a lot of people had to move out, especially artists lost their studios, and the action was to put up a sign demanding, or rather stating, that this will be turned into a space for art, culture and social. And this kind of action took up. There were some coalitions with politics, and we started to host some workshops in working on strategies on really how to turn this into a place for culture and social. And now with a new government of left Social Democrats and Greens, it's already inscribed in the coalition contract that this should be a model for the future usage. And Christoph, I think, will tell, he's also part of the initiatives, will tell a bit more tomorrow. So I leave you with this. So just I wanted to show how this artistic action can kind of start a new reality. Something on a smaller scale we started in 2012 is the Center for Arts and Urbanistic. It's a former railway depot. And we have also a kind of unique situation here because we have the house and the grounds for 40 years lease, so we have a long perspective on developing this site. And we call it Center for Arts and Urbanistic to connect art and the urbanistics, which means not only architectural and city planning, but rather the kind of social issues of a city. How can we live together in a city? And therefore we have a residency program with 13 studios with artists, researchers, activists working on these issues. And beside this artistic ways of working, we are presenting inside the institution and also outside. We develop different formats to also reach out to a larger audience, which are outside the kind of arty and scientific audience. And these formats often fuse different elements. For example, here you have the World Championships, and we placed TVs all around the surrounding and made people come together. So instead of everyone looking at their mobile phone, they all kind of come together on an old TV. And inside we had a larger screening, and we were kind of split screen the actual game and the protest outside the stadium, because in Brazil there was a lot of uprising against the transformation through the football. So we are trying to also bring some critical issues in popular formats. That's one of the kind of one of our aims in the ZKU. But the ZKU is beside the individual practice of the fellows. We also launch some programs, and this program I'm showing you here is the Artist Displacement program. It's also part of the Artecitya network. And initially Samuel, he didn't mention it, he was working with us before, and also worked on this. It was called Artist Placement then. Mm-hmm. We put a displacement in front to give it some new link. And the idea is to bring artists into use by placing them or displacing them in organizations of public services. So going like really into the urban fabric, and we have 3 running now, one working with the Stadtreinigung, Berliner, so the cleaning company, doing all the cleaning of the streets and the garbage, etc. So handling all the garbage in the city. Another one at the firefighters. And Jan Esch, he is at Red Cross. I think Nato Thompson said it in the beginning. You wouldn't call Red Cross an artistic social action, but he is intervening now. You can see him here, how he is working in different departments of the Red Cross, and looking on the change of volunteering in organizations like the Red Cross and this new organizational forms through new media, like what could be very well seen in Germany through the coming of many refugees. So the people organized themselves, and the Red Cross was not reaching out to the people anymore because they organized themselves. So there are more to come for the police, for the train, in the train station, the main train station, and the water, Wasserbetriebe, and also placement in the prison, displacement. Another of our programs is just starting next week with a conference. We call it Hacking Urban Furniture. And urban furniture is a tool merely for advertisement. So there's this, since many years now, the coalition of Deco and Wall and other companies, Ströer, to give public service to the city, like toilets or benches, and therefore using the spaces for advertisement. And the furniture they produce are often like in the language or for the advertisement partners instead of serving the people. So we are looking on new ways or different ways on how to kind of produce urban furniture, also looking at the economy which is produced, like can we also rather have individual site-specific furniture which is maintained by a neighbor and can organize some new economy through that. And within that program there are 10 researchers on different continents. There will be 5 commissioned artworks in Berlin. There will be a film program and also a Hannah Arendt working group led by Fred Dewey. It will take place on different in different public or bottom-up initiatives, both. And the Hannah Arendt text will be read there. So another link to Tanya Bugera. Maybe to conclude, I'm showing you this picture of the mushroom farm. So the mushroom has a big, the body of the mushroom is hidden under the ground, and only the mushrooms pop up when there is a certain kind of humidity and temperature, so the right atmosphere. And if we can kind of identify this atmosphere, we can get really, really big, make a big champignon. Thank you.